How are you? I'm working on a bike for a friend, a 2012 Honda CRF 450. He had a tremendous amount of noise coming from the clutch side. The clutch is not working, and I diagnosed it, took the clutch cover off, and found some big problems. So let's get to it. Here's the bike. Had no clutch. The lever was like pulled all the way in. I kind of have it all apart, or already took it apart, find some stuff out first, but don't mind the oil. That's just ATF. I was flushing the engine out. Anyway, when I took the clutch cover off, there was no oil in there. I don't know where the oil went, or was there any in there for a while? Who knows? Anyway, this is what I found. The clutch. That is a clutch plate that was all in pieces, still in a circular form, and I'm assuming it was kind of like this. It broke up like this. So I'm trying to do this on the cheap, or not the cheap, but he doesn't race or anything, so I'm gonna just get it running for him, just so he can putz around and stuff. But upon inspection, I noticed the pressure plate has some weird wear. See that like groove right there? Let me show you. Like, see right here, there's like an edge. It wore it out, as opposed to the brand new one. See, I got a brand new one. See how nice and smooth? Nice. Bad. Anyway, this is what I got. I got a pressure plate, a Tusk clutch kit, competition clutch kit, some heavy duty clutch springs, clutch cover gasket. I got the fibers soaking. You're supposed to soak it in oil for, they say 24 hours, but I think 30 minutes is fine. This has been soaking overnight because I ran into an issue. Looking at this here, I was looking at it, and the clutch basket, right, this right here, is all like grooved in here. You can see it right there. See the grooves? Anyway, I gotta take the clutch basket out, but on the stupid Honda, you have to take this cover off. So I'm gonna do that. It's kind of just laying there because I already had it out, and I have to order a gasket, which is not gonna be here in 7 days. So I'm gonna kind of partially put it together, and you can tag along. I'll show you what I'm doing. All right. So as I said, I took most of this apart so I could see what I have to work with. But anyway, take your Kickstarter off, and your brake pedal, I just swing it out of the way. You're gonna take 2 screws off here where the coolant tubes go, this hose, and all the outer bolts after you drain the coolant here. So you only need to take these 2, that one out, this is a drain, and then just take all the other ones out. And this push in here to pull this out, that's the kickstart shaft. This should come out pretty easy. The hose will hold you up. I already kind of cleaned this up because I was in here. But anyway, there's that. There's a piece here that I have up on the bench. It's like a flat washer bearing that goes to the clutch lever on the other side where the cable pull is, and it releases or engages the clutches, disengages, vice versa. You gotta take these. This is peened over. You'll see as I put it together. But I got this off already. I used an impact gun in reverse to get it off. You have the nut, the peen washer, and then there's another washer here. I'm just gonna put that down here. This comes off. I checked here. This all seems to be okay, unlike the pressure plate. So I cleaned this already. We're gonna set this aside. And then here's your clutch basket. Now, there's a washer here. I'm gonna put that in order on top of each other. I stack things upon removal. And then the clutch basket, there's a bearing and stuff. And then the clutch basket. So you'll see right here, it's all worn. We should probably replace this, but if it was my bike, I'd put like a Hinson clutch basket, but that's like $400. And I would put a whole clutch kit, which is like $1,000. We're not gonna go do that. We're gonna fix this up for him, just so he can ride it. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna replace this bearing and that bushing or shaft, whatever you wanna call it. And I've been pouring oil. There was metal in here that I cleaned out. I've been pouring oil. I've been just using ATF shit I had hanging around. Pour oil on this, let it drain down. The drain bolt is on the other side. It's this long one. So before you put oil in, or apparently these things take 590 milliliters of oil. I've looked everywhere. They say don't go by the little, there's a drain screw here, or not a drain, a level screw. They say don't go by like that because that'll only allow like 400 milliliters. You need 590, 600 milliliters, because there's like chambers in here, right here and here, down in here. It goes into like another part of the case, and like it needs to get around. If it doesn't get up in there, you don't drive it. With that check screw, it'll tell you false readings. I scraped this whole gasket off. What a pain in the ass. That was really hard, but I cleaned it off pretty best I could. I recommend using like a mini scraper like that. The razor blade, that's all the gasket material. The razor blade didn't work out for me, so I had a good gear wrench gasket scraper, and obviously no hammer, just sliding that slightly gently and working them off, like, you know, like getting all this off. This is just like a little speck, but I'm gonna wipe it down before I put it together. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put the clutch basket. I'm gonna grind this clutch basket. See right here, these little ridges. There you go. You can see them right there. I'm gonna make those flat because that's the clutch plates hitting there, and it hangs up the clutch. I'm just gonna hit them up real quick with like a small cookie, getting them flat so they don't hang up anymore. All right, and then we're gonna put it together as much as I can until I get that gasket. Okay, we're back. I did a little bit of grinding here. You can see how it's nice and smooth in here now, all the way around. I did both sides, top, bottom. That way when the clutch plates move in there, they don't get hanged up, because like when you release, engage and disengage the clutch, it slides a little bit on there. So I just took off like the groove a little bit. We'll see. It should be all right. I'm gonna do a little bit of assembly on this and we'll talk our way through it. There was a lot of debris in here from the broken clutch plates, so I've been pouring oil in here, as I said. I'm just using ATF before I put this together. Just want to get some in there. There was so much debris in here when I took it apart that I have to do this. I had to clean it out. I'm flushing it. When I get it all together, hopefully everything's okay. There was no other damage. I'm gonna run it and then dump the oil and put new oil in again. Anyway, so I replaced this bearing and sleeve that I stated earlier. That's new because I didn't know if that was bad from running dry. But anyway, so I'm gonna put this in. Just goes in like so. You gotta kind of line the gears up. The kickstart gear, maybe. Oh, there we go. All right, so it's flush here. You can see that. I'm gonna put my big washer. I'm gonna put this hub in. It's all on a spline. Just gotta find the right spline. All right, there we go. So you get that. This moves like that, normal. See that? All right, so I'm gonna put my washer that I took out. I'm gonna put the peen over tab. It's got grooves that line up on two edges here. So just put that on. That way it's just there so it doesn't rotate. And then I got the nut. They said like 50 foot-pounds, but we'll see. Oh, that's about how tight it was. Okay, we are back. I ordered the gasket. See, I have it placed on here. There's two dowels. There's a dowel there and a dowel there. It holds the gasket in place. I cleaned everything as I showed you. I ended up replacing this hub. I found it wearing on the other one. When I ordered the gasket, I looked at it more and I was like, I'm not gonna take a chance in case that's not as thick as it should be from running with no oil. So I did replace this hub and I'm gonna continue to put it together and show you what we got here. So this is tight. I did it with the impact gun. Like I said, it's supposed to be torqued to like 52 or something like that, foot-pounds. I'm gonna just put it on as tight as I found it coming off, and I'm gonna peen these over so it doesn't back out. Everything's fine here. We'll peen this over with like a screwdriver or something. Maybe a pry bar. Just be careful prying on the hub. So you want to hit these down. This has been apart before. I know it looks kind of crappy, but just hit those down so the nut can't come loose. Got it? Now I got the gasket on. I suppose we'll put the cover on just so we can get that all squared away. I cleaned it up. There's the water pump bearing. If you're ever wondering why your oil doesn't go in fast when you're filling it, it has like a separated chamber right there that has to leak through, and it goes like right around that area where that bolt is with the red training fluid on. Oh, I just wanted to show you something else. See the spring right here for the kickstart? Make sure it's in that hole, like so, before you put it together, because this can pop out. This whole thing, just make sure it's in there before you put it together, because otherwise your kickstart will just spin. Anyway, we'll put the cover on. Make sure that this is all flush before you bolt it down, because the water pump has a slot that has to line up with the back gear on the engine. So, you know, everything's flush before you tighten it. So these are all your bolts. There's how many? 3, 6, 11 of the same. 2 smaller ones, one a hair longer, and then a big long one. I'll show you where they go as we go. Just going right around. These are all taken the same. I can tell by how far they go in. Like, see if it's got the same space here, like your finger can fit. One of them's a little longer. We'll find out where that one goes. I'll point it out. This long one goes through the water pump. I don't believe there is a longer one. They all seem to fit in the same length, so we'll tighten it up. If you're gonna use an impact, I recommend using like a drill, but just go very snug, like don't let it click. Make sure you got everything in the right spot. Don't zap it down. We're gonna do this by hand. These bolts will break very easy. Matter of fact, I don't recommend using this if you don't have experience with it. These 2 small bolts, they go to the water pump, water jacket housing here. Start everything by hand so you don't mess up any threads. And go in. Very gentle. I like to just take a 1/4 drive ratchet and just go around, give it a little snug. Be gentle with that long one. Don't forget your coolant drain plug. Just ever so slightly snug. I know there's a torque for it, but just don't over tighten the damn thing. Just like your oil drain plug. Put your kickstart on now, if you please. Snug that baby up. We can put our brake lever on, and also don't forget the clamp for your hose. Put your clamp in so his boots don't catch on it. Give this a snug. While I'm here, check the other ones. Just give them a little snug. Okay.
Clutch material. Yikes.
Okay, this is nice and clean. It has a reusable gasket, but I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. It's just like an O-ring style. I take these out with a pick, just get in there. It's pretty stiff, worn out. Take a rag. Get what you can. And you just put this one on like this. It just follows the shape of the cover. Just push it down. There's little tabs that kind of supposed to hold it. Like right there. It's a reusable like O-ring. Oh boy. Not one of these. Gonna keep falling off as I go around. Anyway, you get the point. I'm not ready for this part yet. We'll get it on. I'm gonna put the clutches in now. All right, so on this particular clutch, you're gonna start with a fiber, and then you're gonna put a steel, then a fiber, steel, all the way out. Each end should have a fiber because the hub is a steel and so is the pressure plate, right? So you don't want metal on metal. Some clutches do have like a spacer. I think that's more the Woods bikes, but I'm not too sure. Then you have this flat washer piece that goes in. It's some sort of thing. Then like a flat bearing, then a washer. I'm gonna put this in now so I don't forget it. It goes right here. Make sure the washer does not fall off. So here we go. My plates are pre-lubed. Put a fiber and a steel. The steels have like a sharp edge to them, like a flat edge and a rounded edge. Put the most sharpest or flattest in. So here we go. Goes in like that. I noticed that a couple places on the plate, there's like a little knockout. I'm just gonna line those up so they all line up. A fiber, a steel, another fiber, another steel, another fiber, and so on. I'll keep repeating myself if you want. I get the last fiber. I think there's 8 fibers and I don't know how many steels. 1, 2, 7 steels it's gotta be, right? And then make sure this is still on. You have your pressure plate that goes right on top. And then I have the heavy duty clutch springs. These ones are by EBC. I don't know if it matters. We'll compare. So they're the same length, an old one to a new one. Just one seems like a little thicker. So you put your springs in like so. You take these bolts with the 10mm head. Thread these in by hand. These bolts can break very easy, so just snug them up until they bottom out. Because obviously you're compressing the spring right now. So kind of like do it going in a sequence, like an X pattern or something. They're bottoming out now. Give it a little. After you torque these pressure plate spring bolts to your spec, put the clutch cover on. After messing around with this O-ring, I recommend getting a factory one, not a Tusk one, because it keeps falling out, but we'll see if we can get it in there. I think I got it. Put these 5 8mm head bolts on. Don't let go of the cover so the O-ring doesn't slide out. Might be a good idea to snug one of these up, or 2. That way you can let go of the cover. Make sure the O-ring didn't fall out. Looks like it's good. Snug these up just like the other ones. Don't crank on your ratchet, just give it a little snug. Then we're going to put our brake lever back on for the rear brake. I'm going to put a little grease here, but I noticed there's a washer that goes on behind the pedal, and then the bolt with a like a rubber O-ring here. I'm going to put a little bit of grease here, just like so. Put the washer behind, slide this in, and then I recommend starting it by hand as always. Snug that up, make sure it's not binding. That's what the washer in the back and the rubber O-ring's for, to stop that. All right, perfect. Okay, so now we'll put some oil in it and some coolant, you know, gear oil, that is. and we'll fire it up and see if we have a clutch working. And then we'll dump the oil and put another set of fresh oil after we ran it a bit. $590 milliliters of 85 weight. There we go. Yikes. Well, we were gonna flush this out anyway, so might have to do it a couple times. I'll put fresh oil in it, let them ride it, and have it flushed again. Take it for a ride. That should be a wrap. Clutch is done. In conclusion to this video, I just wanted this to be kind of like a basic clutch replacement, but this bike was a great example because we had to take off the clutch basket, and to do that you had to remove that side case. So that was a good learning experience, and most clutches you just replace the fibers and steels if it's not gone that bad. Like this one was neglected, had no oil in it, the basket got ruined. If you got like a Hinson clutch basket, you most likely will have to remove the gear off the back of the old Honda or whatever manufacturer basket it is, and you grind off the rivets, and they have like a bolt set up for a Hinson. I haven't used a Hinson or a recluse clutch, however you say it, but I think those are the ones to buy nowadays. Anyway, when you're doing any of this stuff, I know I didn't put torque specs down, but use your owner's manual, and the manufacturer has special torques, especially for that hub, the hub nut, and the clutch spring bolts. Everything else is just general, wrenching. This job probably took me about 4 hours to do, but I was also like getting footage for this video. In reality, if I was to do this, it'd probably be like a 2-hour job on a clean bike, just banging it out. Anyway, I hope you get something from the video. Like and subscribe if you have any questions on this job that I did, or a clutch in general, as far as replacing plates and stuff. Leave a comment. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you later on the next one.